welcome to another booktube video from me, Lauren, from Lauren and the Books. And it's very exciting scenes here because I am filming today my holiday TBR. Myself and my husband David are going to Norway for 7 days, which we're very, very excited about. We have been to Norway before. We went for our honeymoon. We were there for, well, it's a long time then. We did 13 days in Norway. We cruise with P&O Cruises. Last time we went on the Aurora, which is a smaller ship. This time we're on a much bigger ship called the Iona. And there's a lot of differences between this holiday and last holiday, in that last holiday it was a lovely treat from my parents as a wedding present, and we had a balcony, and that was very nice, particularly as you're in the fjord, so it's really nice to be able to look at all this beautiful scenery. This time I'm paying because it's David's birthday, and we're on an inside cabin. So we're going to try and see how we get on with an inside cabin, and spend a lot of time on deck and having a look at the beautiful scenery and things like that. But here I am to tell you the 5 books that I'm taking away on holiday with me. Now, when I went last time, it wasn't last year, it was the year before, I took 10 books for 13 days and I read 4 of them. So I'm there for 7 days and I thought 5 books. 5 books I think is far too many. I think, to be honest, I'll probably only get to 3, but I thought I'd better take 5 just in case. And there's also a library on board, and if it's anything like when we went last time, there was like a sort of book exchange where people dropped off their books after they'd finished reading them. So, and I did that, dropped off some of the books after I finished reading them. So yeah, there might well be opportunity for book there. And obviously, if I go to any of these places in Norway that have bookshops, then I may well get myself a copy of something there. So 5 books. What's the plan for the reading? I wanted to take something that that was set in Norway. I wanted to take something that was a really big page turner. I wanted to take some things that were new, and I think I've encapsulated this in these 5 books here. So this first one is one that I bought from Daunt Books a couple of years ago, and it is Memoirs of a Norwegian Childhood. It's called Island Summers by Tilly Colmer Seymour, and this is about Tilly's grandmother, who is non-fiction. She had a place called Smalholmen, which is a small island off the coast of Norway. And legend has it that she bought this island in exchange for a mink coat, and every summer from then on, her and her family used to go and spend their summers on this island. And this is about 35 years later. Tilly is returning to the island as a young woman to spend her first winter on the island. It says it's vivid and enchanting. It's the captivating story of 3 generations of women and the island they made their own, including pictures. So that to me is perfect reading. So I will be reading that whilst I am in Norway. So this will probably be the 2nd book I pick up, so that I can get a vibe for the like the scenery and all of that sort of stuff. So very excited about that. Really excited. I've been putting like this. I've been waiting for this holiday so I can read this. So they're very excited. Then I've got another book which is sort of similar to that book, except it's Iceland. It's a new release. It's not out yet. It's not out until the 6th of November. This is a proof copy of Always Home, Always Homesick, A Love Letter to Iceland by Hannah Kent. Now, David and I hope to go to Iceland at some point, and do a cruise there. Cruising very much suits us because we're quite lazy travellers, so to be in like a floating hotel that drops you off at different places, perfect for us. But yeah, so this is about Hannah Kent's time spent living in Iceland. I love books about women moving to different places and living there, and one of my favourite books is Names for the Sea, Strangers in Iceland by Sarah Moss, about a year she spent living in Reykjavik, working at the university there with her young family. And I also very much enjoyed Hannah Kent's book Burial Rites, which I read when I first started BookTube many years ago. So yeah, I think this is going to be a great read, and it's about when Hannah was 17, she travelled to Iceland from Australia. She'd never seen snow before and didn't speak a word of Icelandic. All she knew was that she wanted to have an experience to soak up something of the world. So there we go. And after leaving Iceland, Hannah wrote the book Burial Rites, which is set in Iceland, and it made her an honorary Icelander and contributed to global fascination with Iceland. There we go. So yeah, I'm very much looking forward to that, and if I love this, which I imagine I will definitely reread this along with Strangers in Iceland when I visit Iceland at some point. Then I've had this on my shelves for a while. This came out this year, and I've seen a few people mention it as like one of the best books they've read this year, so I thought it would be a great opportunity to take it away with me. This is sort of down the pile of this is number 1 priority. We've got a book coming up that's number 2 priority. This is probably number 3 priority. This is number 5 priority. It doesn't mean I want to read it any less. I will read it at some point. But this is from Megan Hunter, who wrote The End We Start From, which is a book that I've read, but I'd also watched the film last year maybe, which had Jodie Comer and Benedict Cumberbatch in it. I thought the film was really great. And this is set in 1938, and we follow Ivy, who's 19 and ready for her life to finally begin. At Cressington, her sprawling bohemian family and their friends gather for lunch and to await the arrival of a longed-for guest. Britain is on the cusp of war, but in the idyllic countryside, anything feels possible. It is a single, enchanted afternoon that ends in tragedy and will change Ivy's life forever. And this chronicles 6 days over 6 decades. It moves through the Second World War and across the 20th century on a radiant journey through a life lived in pursuit of love and in the search of an answer. So yeah, I think it sounds lovely. And something about it makes me feel a little bit like the Cazalet. I don't know why. I don't know if it's that sort of big lunch on one particular day. But yeah, that sounds exciting. I'm going to sort of put these in the order of which I want to read them. Next up is another book that I've seen a lot of people talk about. Simon most recently mentioned it as one of his favourite books of the year so far, and that's Blackwood's Blue Sky by Eowyn Ivey, who is the author of The Snow Child, which is a book that I've read a couple of winters in my life. And this is set in Alaska, I believe. So I thought it would be sort of quite... Is it Alaska? Yes. So there was just something about that, maybe me seeing some snow in Norway, that I thought would be a nice opportunity to read this. So this is about Birdie. It says, Birdie's keeping it together, of course she is. So she's a little hungover on her shifts at time, and she has to bring her daughter to the lodge where she waits tables, but Emmeline never goes hungry. It's a tough town to be a single mother, and Birdie just needs to get by. And then Birdie meets Arthur, who is quieter than most men, but makes her want to listen, who is gentle with Emmeline, and understand Birdie's fascination with the mountains in whose shadow they live. When Arthur asks Birdie and Emmeline to leave the lodge and make a home, just the three of them, in his off-grid cabin, nice, Birdie's answer in a heartbeat is yes. Out in the wilderness, Birdie's days are harsher and richer than she ever imagined possible. Here she will feel truly at one with nature. Here she and Emmeline will learn the whole fearful truth about Arthur. So there we go. I remember very much, I mean, I've read The Snow Child twice, but I remember being very captivated by the writing in there, because it's... I remember it being a very sort of like quiet and slow book, but I was very invested in it. I've actually got a copy of it. Maybe I'll get around to reading it again. Might be due a reread. But yeah, this came out in February this year, so excited to read that. And then you'll notice that these are all paperbacks, because if you're going on holiday, you must take paperbacks. There's no excuse for taking a hardback. It's going to be heavy, it's going to upset you. Unless, of course, you've got the new RF Kwang Katabasis, which you've been waiting to come out. So I have bought this, and I have been... It's so heavy as well. It's not even just like hardback heavy. It feels like heavy. I love RF Kwang's work. I love Yellowface. Babel is one of my favourite books of all time. And I've been really excited about reading this. This feels a bit more Babel than Yellowface, so I'm feeling very excited about it. And I've sort of tried to keep a little bit away from it in terms of like not really wanting to know what happens. The end papers are beautiful. I am very, very excited to read this. And I think this is probably the one I will start with. And then we'll move on to Island Summers. So although Island Summers is my #1 priority, I think I will start with this just because I need to read it. And then I'll move on to Island Summers, at which point I'll be in Norway. Because like the first day, I won't be in Norway for like 3 days. So yeah, I need to get this read. So I'm very, very excited about it. I said I haven't found out much about it, but let's read the blurb together. So it says, grad student Alice Law has only ever had one goal: to become the brightest mind in the field of analytic magic. Magic with a K on the end. But the only person who can make her dream come true is dead, and inconveniently in hell, and Alice, along with her biggest rival Peter Murdoch, is going after him. But hell is not as the philosophers claim. Its rules are upside down, and if she's going to get out of there alive, she and Peter will have to work together. That's if they can agree on anything. Will they triumph or kill each other trying? Oh God. And again, just it's like a chessboard with lots of different symbols and sort of like magical and whimsical symbols, and oh my God, I just cannot wait to read it. I'm very, very excited. So there we go. And I've tried to stay away from like other people's thoughts on it, because I didn't with Yellowface, and Yellowface sort of was quite divisive, so I really enjoyed Yellowface. But yeah, there we go. So there we go, there's the 5 books. I've put them now in order of which I want to read them, and then maybe I'll put them in order of which I'm going to read them. So I want to read Island Summers the most. Katabasis is #2, Always Home, Always Homesick #3, Blackwood's Blue Sky is #4, and then Days of Light is #5. Now I'll put them in the order at which I think I'll read them. It's literally 2 being swapped round. So I think I'll read Katabasis first, then I'll move on to Island Summers, then Always Home, Always Homesick, Blackwoods, Blue Sky, and then if I get time, Days of Light. So there we go. Very, very excited about that. Let me know if you've read any of these, and let me know what you thought. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to my holiday. So I'll see you when I get back from my holiday. Goodbye!